rise. Oh yes, this county commission meeting for Sumner County, Tennessee is now pursuant to adjournment. If you have business, draw near so that you may be heard. God bless this country and God bless this honorable commission.
Thank you, sir. Invocation tonight will be provided by Commissioner Mr. Merrill Hyde.
You know, since I've been on the commission, I sort of had a dream that we would all be able to, one day to get together and discuss issues and come back together as friends and work on the next issue that comes along. I don't think that anything should eternally divide us on being friends regardless, and that's what I'd like to shoot toward. So I have picked a scripture tonight that speaks to that a little bit. And if you would, being just a little bit different tonight, it's just 3 short verses. I'd like for you to go ahead, and the audience too, if you would, to bow your head, and then I'll conclude with a short prayer. But just think on the scripture if you would. It's from Romans 12:16 through 18. Be of the same mind toward one another. Do not be haughty in mind, but associate with the lowly. Do not be wise in your own estimation. Never pay back evil for evil to anyone. Respect what is right in the sight of all men. If possible, so far as it depends on you, be at peace with all men. Father, we thank you for the privilege that we have of being here tonight to conduct the business of this great county. And we pray that you'll give us the divine wisdom and the discernment to make the right decisions as we contemplate the matters before us here tonight. We pray these things in thy name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, Madam Clerk, take the roll call for us.
Each person records your vote.
Okay, we've got 23. Mr. Palmer, would like to speak on the roll call vote? Or okay, I just want to make sure. All right. Okay, so we got 23 here. Ms. Boyd had a last minute issue came up, so that is the one that's not here. We'll still, any agenda item that needs a majority vote will be 13, and anything that needs a 2/3 vote will be 16. Moving on to the approval of the regular agenda. Is there a motion? I understand. We got to get a motion. There's a motion and a second. Okay, let's. We've got a few people in the queue here. Mr. Schoaf.
Thank you, Mr. Becker, or Mr. Chairman. So on your desk, there's an appropriation for a carryover. And bear with me, because after some discussions with Ms. Browning, I actually think that this should not be one change, but 3 different changes, because there's just 3 separate things, and I didn't want to bucket them all up into a single one. So I would like to make the following amendments that would be tacked on to the end of my report. The first one is a carryover of $50,000 for the Hendersonville Health Department. The second one is a carryover of $121,160 for Recovery Court. And then the last one is $528,23 for the Westmoreland EMS facility.
Okay, so what was the 50,000 carryover for?
For the Hendersonville Health Department.
Okay.
Now, just of note, all of these are still going to come from the appropriation reductions to the left. I'm just breaking them out into 3 separate ones so that we can vote on them separately.
And what was the third one?
The third one was for the Westmoreland EMS facility.
And what was that amount?
$242,528.23.
Westmoreland
Yes,
EMS?
yes.
Okay. So without objection, we'll add that to the agenda. If there is an objection, we'll put that on a vote. Recovery court is 121,000 and change.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so without objection, we'll add that to the agenda. Mr. Mansfield,
I would like to add term limits to the agenda under legislative.
okay, there's a motion and a second. Let's put this one on the board. This is to add the term limit resolution that's on your desk. 13 votes needed here to add it to the agenda. Go ahead.
Each commissioner records your vote.
Okay, that does not receive 13 votes. Mr. Jones.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to pull from Legislative Committee 2607-8, the approval of County Commissioner pay increase. I've actually got 2, but I'd like to go ahead and vote on that.
You'd like to do what? Pull it?
Pull it
What
from
do
the
you mean
agenda.
by-
Pull it from the
Remove,
agenda.
you want to remove it from the
Yes,
agenda?
remove it from the agenda.
Okay. So there's a motion and a second to remove item 2607-08 from the agenda. Madam Clerk, put that on the board. So a yes vote here would need to be 13 votes to remove it from the agenda tonight.
Each commissioner records your vote.
Okay. That did not receive. Okay. All right. So 13 votes there to remove it. All right.
I had 2. And the
Oh, I'm
second
sorry.
was-
Go ahead.
The second was dependent on that one, but that one's removed, so, right? So I'll let that go.
Okay, so you're good. All right. Mrs. Holmes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would like to add Mr. Sam Shutt under Committee on Committees for the vacant library board position. Thank you.
Okay. So there's a motion and a second to add an agenda item
Yes, please.
under Committee on Committees for a specific nominee of Mr. Sam Shutt. Okay, there's a motion and a second. Let's put that one on the board. This is just to add it to the agenda.
Each commissioner records your vote.
Okay, that does not get 13 votes. Mr. Klein?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would like to also add one to Committee on Committees. I would like to add Don Schmidt to be on the Budget Committee, which has one vacancy right now.
Okay. It's a motion and a second. Mr. Schmidt, are you willing to, I don't have a vote for you to. It'd be for next month's. All right, so there's a motion second to add on an agenda item to add Mr. Schmidt to budget for the remainder of this cycle. Let's put that on the board.
Each commissioner records your vote.
Okay, so that agenda item gets added under Committee on Committees. Mr. Mansfield.
Yeah, I would, since there's a vacancy on the library board, I know that we got an email from also Don Scruggs, who has spoken with several commissioners. He called me. I spoke with him a couple weeks ago, and he wanted me to bring his name up. So I want to add Don Scruggs to the Committee on Committee to be considered for the library board for the vacancy.
Okay. Okay. So this is to add an agenda item under Committee on Committees to Mr. Don Scruggs for the library board. Just put that on the board.
Each commissioner records your vote.
Okay. That does not receive 13 votes. No one else in the queue. So far we've added the 3 items that Commissioner Schoaf to budget. We've removed legislative item 2607-08. And that's all right? Okay. No one else in the queue? Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. And the Committee on Committees to discuss Don Schmidt added to budget.
Mr. Baker, just a point of information. Is Mr. Schoaf's amendments 3 separate items?
Yes.
I just want to be sure. So it's the 10, 11, and 20.
Correct, yeah. Okay. So let's put this on the board. This is just to set us an agenda as amended.
Each commissioner records your vote.
All right, we have an agenda. Excellent. All right, moving on. Is there an approval for the consent agenda items? Motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Show that is unanimous. Approval of the minutes, June 29th. Motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? We have 1 abstention, Mr. Pomeroy. Everyone else is a yes. Certificates of recognition. Commissioner Rogers, I believe you're up first. Mr. Jody Garrison, if you'd like to, you and maybe if you have family members with you, would like to come up. This is recognition for the 4-H Volunteer of the Year.
I don't mind. So as chairman of the Ag Committee here in the county, I work a lot with the 4-H agent, isn't he? An agent back there. And Jody, by far, I would say, could probably be on payroll and he would still be needed to pay for the hours that this guy puts in. He is there with the hippology, study of the horses, study of the cattle judging, study of the swine judging, study of gardening, the studying of all things related to 4-H. So he took a road trip. I think that was a surprise to him that he was even going to go to Shelbyville, Tennessee. Now keep in mind, Shelbyville, I have to slow that down, is known for horses. So here goes good old guy from Westmoreland down to Shelbyville just for what he thought was an awards night, and come to find out he was recognized as 4-H State Horse Volunteer of the Year. So that carries a lot of weight. Just to know that he's in horse country and still is able to pull out that title and bring it back. So with that, Mr. Chairman, if I may, Sumner County Board of County Commissioners meeting in regular session on this 27th day of July 2026 to hereby honor and congratulate Jody Garrison for being recognized as the 4-H State Horse Volunteer of the Year, and I so move. Congratulations. Yes, sir. Thank you. So these next 2 knuckleheads that we'll get to recognize are from Portland as well. So Blaine and Mason, if y'all come on up, bring your captain up too. I know he's sitting there beside you. Come on, it'll be all right. It won't hurt for a little while. Yeah. So these guys have given a whole new title to sports. Chad, you can stand over here. These two have been fighting as team members, fighting for a title for the last, 2 years probably that they've been on the water together. Fought hard and recently, I'll go ahead and say, put Sumner County on the map for fishing. They have, over the last 2 years, they've won at least 10 notable tournaments that they've fished in. But the last two was 5th place in the Nationals out of 411 boats, 8th place in Worlds out of 411 boats. So that's pretty phenomenal. Mr. Chairman, if I can, Sumner County Board of County Commissioners meeting in regular session on this 27th day of July, 2026, do hereby honor and congratulate the fishing team of Mason Pearson and Blaine Gregory for placing 5th in the Student Angler Association High School Fishing National Championship and for placing 8th in the Student Angler Association High School Fishing World Finals, and I so move. There you go, dude. Yes, sir. Hang on a minute. Chad, you want to speak? You want to speak? You sure? Y'all want to say something? You say something? All right, good deal. Thanks, guys.
Appreciate that, Mr. Rogers. Next up, we have a very, very special recognition. The mayor is going to present a gift of a pew from the General Sessions Courtroom to Judge Michael Carter's family, if y'all would like to come.
If I can get the Carter family
It is,
and
but they're
Judge
here.
Howard, Judge Bryant, y'all join us, please. This is probably one of the most humbling things that I get to do as a county mayor. I knew Judge Carter well. He's a great guy, not quite as well as my good friend Judge Howard, who was partners with him. But Judge Michael Carter served with distinction, and we lost Judge Carter July 13th of 2022 after a hard-fought, courageous battle with ALS. Stayed in the bench to the very end, doing his work for Sumner County. It was just quite an honor. And when I got this phone call to gift a pew, it was from the old courthouse, and it was going to the family. I thought, what better way to honor the Carter family for what they have given to Sumner County. And so with that, I'm going to read this resolution. It's a resolution gifting a pew from the old General Sessions Courtroom to the Carter family. Be it resolved by the Sumner County Board of Commissioners meeting in regular session on this 27th day of July, 2026, that this body does hereby gift a pew from the old General Sessions Courtroom to the family of Judge Michael Carter.
All right. Moving on, recognition of public for agenda items. Mr. Chris Shoemaker, if you can give us your name, your address, and I guess you wrote the agenda item number, so what agenda item numbers you're wanting to speak about, and then you'll have 5 minutes.
Chris Shoemaker, 1018 Silver Maple Lane up in Portland. So originally I was going to speak on the agenda item for the commissioner pay raise, but that was removed. I'll throw that caveat in there in a minute. But on top of that, I'm also going to speak on the 260717. It's the wheel tax exemption for the volunteer fire departments. So I'm asking that you remove a portion of that was amended for the referendum component that was added. For one, I don't believe that that will pass a legal standpoint to ask just a general survey monkey question on a ballot, but that's his job. So This amendment, this resolution is just a small token of appreciation to the men and women who run these calls. This isn't for the departments, this is for the individuals that get up at 2 o'clock in the morning, just like Highland had the other night. They got called out for a house fire at 2 o'clock in the morning. They were there till 5:30, 6 o'clock that morning by the time everything got done, and then turned around, half the guys turned around and went to work the next morning at 7 o'clock. So this is $51 per person for one vehicle, as long as they qualify for the state exemption on the $29. So this is giving them one license plate completely free. I think in our ad hoc committee, I believe we came up, it was going to be somewhere around a $7,000 budgetary impact a year. Not significant at all considering what the volunteers save us every year as taxpayers. So this is a small item that our chiefs can use to help recruit and retain, but also to encourage that participation within their departments. So the ad hoc committee, we've been at it in depth for, I believe, 10 months now. We're close to completing our work there, but there's a whole lot of information that comes out real quick, like as some of you have came to find out. This item came out of our committee already and was pushed forward as a way of immediately doing something to just, again, to say thank you for what they do. I want to be clear, though, this is a benefit for the individual, not the departments. This isn't part of their funding strategy. This is just a small token that the 24 of you sitting here can tell the individuals, hey, Sumner County appreciates what you do, and here's the smallest little bit of a token that we can give you of $51 a year. I promise you they spend more in gas than that, running calls and everything else. However, in order for this to go into effect, it must pass with 2/3 vote for 2 consecutive months. So I need 16 of you, if not all 23 of you, to hopefully support this endeavor. Beyond that, I will hold comment since the other one died. So I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Moving on, report of the chair. I want to just take a moment and just ask you all to keep the Hendersonville High School family, staff, teachers, students, and everybody. Coach Anthony Lake died yesterday afternoon by suicide, and just want to remind everybody, if you need emotional support, reach out. The national hotline, if you will, is 988. So, please utilize the national emotional support hotline, and if you're ever to need it. So please keep his family. I know he's got a daughter that's in high school and a son who's out of high school, but just keep that family and the Hendersonville High School family in your thoughts and prayers. Moving on, the Veteran Service Report is attached. Financial statement memo is included for docketing purposes. Report of the county officials, your written reports to be filed. I guess we got notaries. Is there a motion for notaries? Second. Motion is second. Let's put that on the board.
Each member record your vote.
Okay, so that is unanimous. Moving on to the report of standing committees. Health and Emergency Services. No report. Education, Mr. Sullivan.
Mr. Chair, we met prior to this meeting at 6:30, had some information only items, and then some copy releases. It'll be under budget coming up. Thank you.
Okay. Highway Committee. No report. General Ops, Mr. Harris.
One item, approval of lease for property, excuse me, with Vanderbilt Medical Life Flight. That's the helicopter that stays at the EMS. And I so move. Second.
The motion is second. No one in the queue. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? So that is unanimous. Anything else, Mr. Harris? All right. Ms. Bergdorf, Committee on Committees.
No report, sir.
We added an agenda item for you.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Please forgive me.
All right. So there is the motion is to add Don Schmidt to the Budget Committee for 1 month or for the remainder of this cycle. There's a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Show that's unanimous. Okay, so that's your report. Legislative Committee, Mr. Harrison, anything else? No. Okay. Moving on then to Mr. Shove.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So the first one, I'm gonna make the motion, and then I'm gonna explain it a little bit because the wording, I had some questions on it, and I just want to make it very clear what this means and what it doesn't mean. So the motion is to make appropriations for the various funds, departments, institution, offices, and agency of Sumner County, Tennessee for FY 2026 and 2027, confirm incorporated severed school budget, confirm tax levy, and direct submission consolidated school budget to the Tennessee Comptroller of the Treasury. I so move.
Motion and a second.
I'd like to go ahead and get in queue and explain this because
Go ahead.
There were some questions that I fielded about the way this read that made it look like we were reopening the budget which was passed last month. I just wanted to be clear, and we can get Ms. Browning on record too if we'd like to, but we are not reopening the last month's budget. And in fact, it would be inappropriate to do so because we didn't notice any changes to that budget. So the reason that's from my discussions with both Ms. Browning and our legal team is that in order for us to pass this forward, we need to have a singular appropriation that at least references back to the previous, if you notice the confirm and incorporate language, it is a reference back to what was previously voted on. So this is specific to the school budget.
Correct.
And to append it to what we have already voted on. That's what this means.
Okay, thank you, sir. Mr. Schmidt.
Like I do every year, I'm just going to disclose that my wife does work for the Sumner County Schools. So I will be voting on the school budget tonight, but just wanted to disclose that before voting. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Klein.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would like to make an amendment to the motion, if I may.
Okay.
I would like to send the budget back to the school board to reconsider and resubmit it, reducing it by $5,619,212.
Yeah, and that's the amount over MOE?
That's the amount of the MOE.
So and there's who had the second on that? Mr. Teacher. Okay, so your amendment is to reduce the revenue by the
$5,619,212.
Okay, so roughly 5.6 million, reduce it and send it back to the school board for them to review and resubmit.
Yes, sir.
Okay, there's a motion and a second.
And I would like to speak to it, if I may.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Commissioners, the reason I am proposing this amendment is very simple. The school district does not need this money. In the next few minutes, I plan on proving that to you. Let's start with enrollment and money. In 2016, the enrollment of the schools in total was 28,960 students. The maintenance of effort was $81,458,826. And they had just added to the reserve account $1 million, and the total reserve account was $31 million at the time. Last year, enrollment dropped from what it had been the previous year to 30,199 children, and it dropped 227 students from the previous year. So if you look at 28,960 and then go, that's almost 29,000, and then at the maximum it went up to almost 30,500, and now it's dropped that much. We can see we're going backwards with students. So there's not an increase in need for teachers. In fact, there's a decrease, and I would think that would convey as well to staff members. The maintenance of effort last year was $139,943,000 and $7. $139,943,007. The add to the reserve account was $9 million. The total reserve account now is $140 million. The reserve account should be 3% of budget, or about $14 million. So the reserve account currently is 10 times the minimum requirement. This year, the schools are asking for an increase to MOE of another $5,619,212, which would bring the new maintenance of effort to $145,562,219. This, in conjunction with the state and federal money, brings their overall budget to $461,789,277. The county's budget is only $218,337,896, or less than half the school budget. It now costs over $15,000 per child per year to educate them. The state has a minimum required match. This year it is $75 million, but the school district wants us to provide almost $146 million. That's doubling their minimum amount. Why is this happening? How did we get to the point that our contribution to the schools is almost double what the state recommends? When we do our 2 days of budget hearings, every department in the county comes to us asking for provision of their needs. Our county is growing in population and infrastructure, but not the school enrollment. The sheriff would tell us that there are recommendations on numbers of deputies required for any given population. He might ask for 12 more deputies and their squad cars. Every year, and I've been on the budget committee for 4 years, every year we tell him he needs to do with less because we don't have the money without asking the citizens for a tax increase. And so it goes with every department in the county, except the schools. It's for the kids. That's the answer to every question. It's for the kids. Do you think we can spoil the kids? Nobody even showed up at our hearings this year. I've been on the budget committee for 4 years, and this year nobody spoke on behalf of the schools. Suddenly, magically, there was a $5.6 million addition to the maintenance of effort. I don't know how it got there or why it is that much. There was no explanation, no justification. But with a budget of over $460 million, we and everybody in this chamber is being led to believe that if they don't get this 1.2% increase in what they're asking on maintenance of effort to their total budget, that the whole house of cards is going to fall. Even with the $6 million to $8 million windfall they get from sales tax and other random income, they'll just have to shut it all down. Almost every year, the schools put back more money into the reserve account than the increase in MOE that we give them. In 2023-2024, we gave no increase to the MOE, and the schools were still able to put back $17 million in the reserve fund. The most senior of us on this commission told me something a couple of weeks ago. He said, "David, we're racing to a tax increase with some of the things we're doing." He'll tell you he's not right about everything, but he's dead right on regarding this one. With inflation, you cannot stop a tax increase forever, but with smart spending, you sure can slow it down. Commissioners, we were elected to serve the people, all the people, not just the school people. 30,000 children, less than 15% of our population, are commanding over 67% of the tax dollars in this county at the expense of our essential services, our roads, and our safety. And just as a side issue, one of the oldest roads in my District 6, there's one of the oldest churches in the county is on this road. That road is currently about 10 feet wide when the standard in the county is supposed to be 18. If we spent wisely, we would give our highway department more money to at least widen the rural roads from a very narrow 18 feet from the 10 that we see on this particular road and many, many others within the county. Did we really need an indoor football field? Should we really be teaching the students to fly when they may not be able to file a flight plan? Did we really need to spend $32 million on new bleachers and other sports equipment when the bleachers alone could have been repaired and reinforced for under $5 million? They don't need this money. They just want it. Let's represent those who voted us in, all the people that voted us in. I am asking you to vote yes on my amendment. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Mr. Show, if you want to speak, I know Mr. Hyde's in the queue as well. Was that a yes? Oh.
Yes, yes.
Okay, go ahead.
I would, and thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to respond to a couple things regarding specifically where the appropriations are coming from and the discussion of a tax increase. So just to be super clear, there's no tax increase, and we are not in a deficit spending scenario, period. So we're spending about 92 cents on a dollar right now, which is where we've historically been. And it's about where the schools are at too. So we're running about 8% in the black, and we've been running about 8% in the black. So we don't need a tax increase. We're nowhere near deficit spending. We're not going to be in deficit spending next year. Now that's assuming we don't take on bonds or do anything crazy, but if we just keep doing what we're doing, we're going to be fine. So I just wanted to state that kind of flatly. The second thing is that in speaking about where the funding is coming from, so if you look historically at the spending on schools, and in fact the previous commissioner who spoke actually gave out a printout, what you'll see is this crazy kind of up and down with the schools for decades, where it was $1 million, $500,000, $1 million, then $15 million, then $2 million, and it's this and this and this. And I'm not saying me or there's anything special about me, but one of the things that I wanted to do was first do something of a reset, which we did with the maintenance of effort for 1 year, and then get a consistent and predictable way for both this commission and the school to have a predictable way to plan for their spending needs. And so the way we did that was we actually reduced the total pennies given to the school on the property tax side and moved more pennies from the sales tax side. So to answer the question of where the additional funding is coming from, all of this is coming from projected increase, a very conservative projected increase in sales tax, not additional property tax increase. We've not done any of that. So this is coming purely from, it's literally inflation that we're getting this from, inflation and growth of sales tax. So that's to the question of where it's coming from and what the rationale was from. It came from leaving the pennies exactly as they are and just letting the additional sales tax flow through. So that's where it came from. As to what the schools will spend it on, as everybody here knows, there's only so much control that we have over it. But what I would note is that just like the county, the vast majority of the school spending is on salary. The state has mandated to us that we have to get all teachers to the $50,000 a year salary, which we have done, and we did ahead of time. But once you get the bottom kind of tranche up, if you don't have some level of increases across the board, then folks who are more senior get squeezed, and I know that the schools are still attempting to kind of flesh that out. Between that, which was put upon us by the state, and I don't think anybody in here would say teachers deserve less, that hasn't required an increase in spending, and heavy inflationary, we have to compete on the market for both goods and services. So, I can't speak to every single line item in the school budget, but I can answer where they came from. I can state very clearly that we're We're not in a deficit spending scenario, and this won't put us in a deficit spending scenario, barring some catastrophic recession or a change in, if somebody wants to take out and do some spending on bonds in the future, that changes things. But if we do like we're doing, we're not in a deficit spending scenario. So I could go on and on and on, but I wanted to just kind of address some of those with just some facts.
All right, thank you, sir. Mr. Hyde.
Mr. Chairman, I am obviously the senior member that the commissioner's referring to. You even sounded like me a little bit.
It was pretty good. If I closed my eyes, I thought it was you.
I did say we're racing toward a tax increase, and I believe that. And I could stand up here and talk for 10 or 15 minutes, but it all comes down to the fact that if you have X amount of dollars and you're spending over X amount of dollars, that doesn't work very well in your checkbook or in the county's checkbook. We can't keep continuing to do that. However, I look at this a little differently in that I'd like to see the new budget committee, and some of the new commissioners are here. I don't know if they'll be on the budget committee or not, but I'd like to see the budget committee sit down with the Board of Education and have a study session even ourselves and deal with how we will attack the budget problem in the future. It's not to be, I don't think it can be decided very well here tonight on the floor, but I think we do need some study sessions and some reasonable thought on what to do to control expenditures, not only in this department, but many departments. And there are many good ideas out there, and I just throw out one in that one thing the commission laid on us years ago was that we would present to the budget committee a budget balanced that was within the framework of the revenue. And then we would present an improvement budget and show what was sought with improvements beyond what funds are available. But that's just a minor thing, but there are many ideas and thoughts. I don't think, Commissioner, that we can settle it here tonight. That's just my thought. But we do have a problem out there, not with just this department. Let me emphasize, there are many departments that exceed, but not many. There are other departments that exceed expected revenue if you were to divide the revenue out among departments.
All right, thank you, sir. Mr. Brown.
I'd just like to go over the last 12 years that we have the reserve increase amounts. From 2014, we have $7 million that was added. 2015, $2 million. 2016, $1 million. 2017, $8 million. 2018, $9 million. 2019, $5.8 million. 2020, $10.4 million. 2021, $23.8 million. 2022, $31.4 million added to the reserve. 2023, $7 million. 2024, $17 million. And then last year, it was $11.5 million. Why are we giving more money? I don't understand that. When we're putting all this money back into the reserve, like I say, it's 10 times the amount that they require. It just does not make sense fiscally to do that. I mean, we are trying to fund a county government. Why do they require so much more than a national average of per student? Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Commissioner Reen.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. A couple of things I want to mention. Right now, or as of a year or two ago, the average national amount of money spent per student was $17,840. In states like New York, it's like $38,000, $40,000. In Tennessee, the state average a year or two ago was $12,147. Tennessee was 51st in the nation in support for schools. Okay, so the average in Tennessee is $12,147. Are we an average school district? Do we want to be an average school district? No. I believe we're above average school districts, and we need to be an above average school district. We talk about teacher salaries constantly, but who's talking about salaries for the classified employees? Do you all know who those are? Those are the secretaries. Those are the bus drivers. Those are the classroom assistants in special education classes. As a former special education teacher, I will tell you, they should be paid way more than they are. And in order to do that, the Board of Education has to have income coming in order to pay them more, because we've raised their salaries over the years, but they need way more than they're getting. I have no issue with the increase in MOU for schools. Another issue is most of the people in this room would say we want the Department of Education gone. I think that's a fair statement. Here's the deal. As the federal government slows down and stops funding for schools, guess who's going to have to make up that funding? Us. Okay? It's that simple. As they close down, shut down departments at the Department of Education, as they reduce federal spending, we'll be picking up that spending. Now, when they the way the state and federal governments work, they reduce spending, but they don't reduce regulations. So there's a whole lot of people in the central office who are there to fund federal regulations. Those things, no matter what administration it is, those things keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So, I support this budget and I will vote for it.
Thank you,
against
sir.
this amendment.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Teachner.
Thank you, sir. So I want our children to be educated. I think everybody agrees on that, even though the means are all different. But I won't go back and forth about which way that we're not going to solve that tonight. But I will say that while that year after year we're asked for millions more to be added to the budget, and year after year we see it all over. Every time that I talk to anybody, they say, why are so many people being added to central office? Why is central office so enormous? And so while the budget request continues to grow by the millions, and while central office continues to get fatter and more expansive, the thing that doesn't seem to grow, even with the expansive growth in our county, is the enrollment of students. They've been going down year after year. I'm not going to try to tell people how to teach children. It's not what I know, but I know that when I look at numbers, 23-24 was 30,661. And then it went down. It's only about 200 a year, but 24-25 went 30,480. And then 25-26 was 30,232. And so that's not a huge decrease, but the thing I want to point to is it's a decrease. The only thing that's decreasing is the enrollment in our Sumner County schools. But the thing that's increasing is the budget request and the growth of central office employees. I think that it would be improper for me to vote for that increase while we decline in student enrollment that doesn't match. I'm not even talking about test scores. I'm only going on enrollment. And everybody can go down their own road. I don't want to keep us here all night, but I just think it's very important. I want to be very cognizant of the taxpayers' money. That I know that national averages we can look at, but in national averages we got California and we got New York, and nobody wants that to become here. So I think that that's one thing we have to be careful of. Don't spend the people's money and don't overregulate. That's what we agree with in Tennessee, or at least the people who vote. or who don't vote actually agree with that. So I think it would be very important for everybody to get out and vote your feelings. If this is something that we're going to head down the road of tax increases, I think that we got to make sure that we're very, at least the people are speaking, whatever that is, if that's what they want. But I believe that the people I've spoken to in District 14 do not want tax increases and don't want continued growth and spending in the wrong places when we can have them in the right places.
All right, thank you, sir. Mr. Nguyen.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I believe we're debating on the amendment to send this back to the school board. Is that correct?
It would be removing the 5.6 million, sending it back, and ask them to resubmit it, yes.
All right, so and I don't think I'm wrong, but I think there's only one vote against the budget we received from the school board, so I don't know how that's going to be productive.
So this in essence would be voting it down, yes?
Yeah.
If we approve this amendment, it's voting it down and sending it back.
Yeah, with only one vote against it coming from the school board, so almost a unanimous support for this across the school board members. I think this is more or less just a delay tactic, in my opinion. But, maybe the schools are hedging for all the apartments that are being built, and the growth from the student population will come from apartments. I don't know. But, every year whenever we get to the school board budget, it's the same arguments. We talk about the central office growth, and we're going to talk about reserve funding. And I always find it interesting is because the schools have way more than they need. I just heard our first speaker talk about the total county budget was $291 million. And then I look at our county trustees report, and we've got $337 million in our reserves. And I'm like, it's almost like the pot calling the kettle on that one, So it's like we've got way more than we need, apparently, but it's okay for us to do it. So I don't know, I just want to point that out because we hear the same arguments year after year on the same topics, and there's a lot that goes into those reserves. There's designated funding just like ours, so it's not like there's just this cash cow piggy bank that they've got as a slush fund that sits over there, $140 million. So a lot of that is for funding that they have to maintain for different things, just like we do, just like everything that we have that goes into this $337 million that we have sitting in our banks and our investments. So it really is no different. So thank you, Mr. Chairman, that's all I got.
Thank you, sir. Trying to see if there's someone that hasn't spoken yet, and we can hop around. Maybe Mr. Schmidt. Can you put Mr. Schmidt?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm going to come at this from a little bit of a different angle. The senior commissioner here, Mr. Hyde, which I have a lot of respect for, I think what we need to start doing, and obviously not going to do this tonight, but in the next commission is, we went on about 12 tours of the schools with the director of schools. I see a school board member, I'm not looking at the whole, but I see one out there in the audience that joined me on most of those. And I think, that's where you get some of your questions answered on what's going on inside the schools, to see what the needs are, talk to the director of schools. I mean, he answered all my questions when I went on that tour, had a great tour, any concerns I had. I think we need to start building off of that. As far as, the budget, my impression is this budget chair, and he can correct me if I'm wrong, presented a number to the schools that we could work with in good faith. I'm sure this is not going to take up all of that extra money he proposed, but there was a recent breach of the security system in the schools for the internet. I don't know how much that's going to cost them. If I'm understanding correctly, and someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but they're having an outside firm take care of that and make the necessary adjustments to that. So I'm sure that was something out of left field. But again, I think going forward, it's going to, for the new commissioners coming in here, whether you agree or disagree with the school director or the school board, it might be a good idea to maybe take some time and go on some tours of those schools and talk to the teachers and the staff that do the work. As far as my wife, that was brought up last time that, a certain commissioner was going to challenge my vote, and if he wishes to do so, the invitation's there. But I can tell you this, when I've worked about 3 times in the cafeteria on Thanksgiving, she shows me no favoritism. I can promise you, she's like, come on, let's go. We got to move, get the food out. So if you want to talk about, Mr. Ring made some good comments on dedication of classified employees. I can tell you beyond her, I talked to several of those school employees at Merrill Hyde that day in past years, and the dedication to those ladies, it's phenomenal. They're upset that they're starting school a week later because they're going to miss out on those kids. But to that point, I think going forward, that's something maybe the commissioners out there listening and new school board members to consider doing is touring some of these schools next term. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. There's a long list. I'm just going to go down here. Mr. Brown?
It was insinuated that if Congress decides to do away with the Department of Education, that all this funding would dry up. No, it wouldn't, because in the 1970s, Jimmy Carter paid back the teachers union by creating the Department of Education. All that funding was in different agencies that the president had in his executive branches, as far as that concerns, such as the USDA, HHS, all those have the funding, and that's where it would go back to if Congress decides to do this. Now, other thing, if this has been so important about paying people what they should, why did we wait till the last year to pay the teachers that $50,000 minimum? Why? We had the money. The money was put in the reserves. Why did we wait? It doesn't make sense. So again, we're not paying the people on time as we should. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Klein?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to respond to my respected and esteemed colleague from District 8. I never said we shouldn't give the teachers their raises or that people shouldn't be paid what they're worth. What I am saying is every year, money goes into the reserve account more than we give them in maintenance of effort. That's a big difference. We've got a reserve account that is 10 times bigger than the minimum the state requires. Why are we hoarding the people's money? That's really what it comes down to. I want to have plenty of money in there to pay everybody what they need to get paid. But we shouldn't have a slush fund, which is effectively what it is, that they're drawing interest on when people in the county are struggling to make ends meet and put food on the table. That's what this comes down to.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Schoaf, you have comments?
I'm just correcting numbers here. So the county does not have $300 million in effective savings. I'm assuming that number probably came from some combination of committed reserves, maybe some combination of things that we jointly have with the schools. What I would tell you is that an accurate picture, and Ms. Browning can back me up here if I'm incorrect, an accurate picture of the undesignated fund balance, which is our effective reserves, is about $52 million. So, and yes, so we grow that every year too, by a percent or two. But what I would tell you is that the day we're talking here about preventing tax increases, and again, there's no tax increase on there's no tax increase here. The day that our uncommitted fund balance drops for a recurring reason, that is the day that a tax increase is inevitable. So if I would argue that the schools probably have a similar problem. The day that they are not putting something back, and we can argue about the total amount that they're putting back, which is fair, but the day that they're spending, their recurring spending, not capital projects, outstrips their revenues is the day that they either have to come to us or that they can't sustain, right? So putting a little bit back in a reserve fund is, that's a natural thing to do.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Harris.
Call for the question.
Okay, let's put that on the board. 16 votes would be needed. 16 yes votes needed here to call the question. That got 15 votes. Mr. Jones.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I believe our budget chair has done a great job in keeping us from a tax increase these 4 years. So I do believe in everything he's saying. However, I do also believe in what Commissioner Klein is, his points are very valid. And I think what he was getting at was not a shift in priorities, but an equalization of priorities. We have other departments that we short every year that need more, and they show where they need more, and we short them because we give the schools more than they need. I think all of his points were made valid with the amount that's padded in reserves and not used every year. I just sat here and looked up the average private school tuition in the United States is about $15K per year. The average for Tennessee private school is about $14,600 a year. Our public schools are right at that mark, and they're not private schools. This may explain the argument of why people are pulling their kids out of schools to get an education that's, in their opinion, better for the same amount. They're not getting bang for their buck in our schools. With the enrollment being flat, I can't justify throwing more money at that. And to the last point, I do agree with my fellow commissioner who said that there are a whole lot of people in the central office. I'll leave it at that.
Thanks, sir. Mr. Ring.
Yes, I just want to add some context to something that was said earlier, that, you know, we're losing number of students, 200-something students in a year, and that should mean lower, less employees, get rid of some teachers. You know, we've got over 50 schools in this county. If we're short 250 students this year from last year, that's an average of 5 students per school. We're not getting rid of teachers. Which teacher are we going to get rid of for 5, because 5 students from the whole school are gone? Just wanted to add some context. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Mr. Pomeroy.
Just a question. I thought by law all we could do is vote yes or no to the budget that they send us. So by this amendment that we've now spent 40 minutes, I just want to make sure these comments carry over, because this is essentially just voting no.
Correct.
This is not a proper amendment.
Correct.
We can't even amend that.
No, it's a proper amendment. We can.
Well, you're voting no to the budget.
It's voting no, but with some guidelines.
So we can cut money and say
No, we can't approve any
so
other
we're voting
budget.
no to the budget that was sent to us.
Correct.
That's it. We're just kind of semantically saying, like, so whatever, that's fine, but
Yeah.
we're speaking to both motions. I just hope whenever we get through whatever, and I'll listen to everybody all night, so if they want, there's no need to repeat it once we get, because technically we'd have to take a second vote.
Well, if this sends it back, it becomes the vote itself.
That would be, we wouldn't have to vote, because it would change it.
Yeah.
A little context on something else as far as average private school. I've said this for years, it's very unpopular. I think the director of schools is out there. Private schools do not factor in transportation. And if you want to look at one of the biggest costs outside of salaries, you want to make a lot of parents mad, tell them you're going to cut buses tomorrow, but you could save about almost 1.6 million a day. So you could take 1.6 million and just tell people to get their kids to school themselves. That's what private schools do. And that, I mean, heck, I remember the days when our kids used to get dropped off at like random boat docks, or Terry's, Commissioner Wright's, like the houses on the side of the rural roads where parents just kicked you out of the car and said the bus will be here soon. Now it goes down every street, every cul-de-sac, and because we require that. So just when you make a comment that we're the same as a private school, we also spend $1.7 million a day to run buses. I'm all for private school, but we always just talk about what we want. Also, context. Mr. Sho, since I chaired the budget committee for 3 years too, he is correct. That is not what we have in our undesignated fund balance. But the top line number that's being thrown out on the other side of what's being added to their reserve has those same caveats. So that's not so you don't get to do both. You don't get to say, well, on our $337 million, we have some of that designated and some of it gets spent out during the course of the year. Well, so does that side. So just compare number to number. That's it. Just if ours is 50, which is 25% of our operating cost, right? Roughly 200 plus 18 million is what we got on county general. So 52 million, 24 and some change percent. I would venture to say that at the end of the year, after whatever gets tapped out of that on the school board, it's probably going to be around 18 to 22%. So for showmanship, and it's Monday night and it's the night wrestling, I get it. We all have to stand on our Bible and stand on our platform and our pew and say what side we're on. But that's not the intent of the night. Did that a month ago. Nothing's changed in a month. Nothing's going to change in another month. I just hope, Mr. Chairman, that all these comments, mine included, we can maybe generally agree not to repeat those if we have to take a second vote.
All right, thank you, sir. Mr. Mansfield.
I do appreciate the Budget Chairman clarifying two things. That one, should the county proceed with a major debt, a bond campaign, that probably would trigger a tax increase in the future. So I know citizen, I'll be watching for that in the future. As well as, I guess a statement was made about the teacher pay increases being mandated by the state, but I want to remind everybody that the state also said they were going to fund all of that money. 2 years ago, they gave almost $32 million for that purpose that wasn't actually even hardly used for it 2 years ago, going to a commissioner from the 17th District's point. And so that was interesting. But one thing that Mo Taylor pointed out to me when I first got on the commission back in 2018 is that year after year, the school board does follow the same pattern. They budget more in expenditures than they expect to bring in, and then they claim they'll cover the gap by dipping into those reserve funds. And that is just a pattern that happens. But the catch is the actual spending always consistently comes in under budget. And those reserves they say they'll need, it's usually never touched. So instead, the reserves keep growing, and that's exactly why we've seen the fund balance climb year after year. This year they're using $50.5 million as a pad, not the $130-something million that is actually there. They designated part of that, but let's go with the $50.5 million. We're giving them an additional $5.7 million doesn't make sense because it's not something they're ever going to spend based on the historical trends. And the historical trends are basically, they say they spend about 92% of their operational budget, but in reality it's closer to 84 and 85% every year when you look at it. And in fiscal year 23-24 alone, that difference left $45 million in unspent funds. And then they'll say, hey, we only have $3 to $4 million in undesignated reserves left over for fiscal stability. But at the end of the year, it's like $27 million, and it grows. And 2 years ago, it grew to $143 million. And that was after they said that they needed $5.4 million for teacher raises, which they then changed to athletic funds, and they just changed it to something random. And the year they said they needed $5.4 million more for athletic facilities or teacher raises, they put $17 million back into the reserves, which means they didn't need the money. And I said before, and I said again, I can't vote for a budget that's forged in lies when you aren't truthful in what the things are for. And so I agree with Junior Commissioner from the 6th District on what he said and his reasonings why. If you look at trends and patterns and data, the increase in MOE is not necessary or warranted. And especially when they put that money back in the budget historically year after year. Again, this is something Mo Taylor pointed out to me when I first got on the commission, started watching it. And it's just an interesting phenomenon to watch. And it's interesting to see the Common Core County math hide the numbers, in my opinion, and sometimes that's done in some of these meetings. So I will be voting for this amendment that Commissioner Klein has put forward. I know that it's probably going to get voted down, and the school board budget will probably pass tonight. So, I mean, it is what it is. I don't doubt that, but you know, I don't see a need to vote for that $5.7 million. So.
Thanks, sir. Mr. Teachner.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's always so interesting, and it gets so heated over the wrong things. And it was brought up, you know, something about, I was the commissioner that felt that conflicts of interest shouldn't have a vote. I've always felt that way very strongly, and so does the Tennessee state feels the same way. But we've argued about that.
Yeah,
I won't
let's
go down
move
that
on
road.
from that, yeah.
And so moving past that, I think the other problem is that the argument has never been about the schools not getting the money. The argument's never been about what's in the reserves. That's not the argument. And if we try to make that argument, it's silly. It's not the point. The point is that the people aren't getting the money. And I'll prove it to you right now in just 2 or 3 little statements. The reason why it upsets me, it's not about the school getting the money. It's about the teachers not getting their raises. It's about classified employees not getting their money. And it's about Sumner County. Year after year, we see an influx of requests of funding, but we don't see the people that are in those school districts that really can use that money get the funding to them, to their paycheck, where it matters. And the other point that I'll make to you that is so important, and why I promise you it's not about the school having so much money, because it's not the school's money, it's the people's money. And you know what is happening year after year? Every year, look at the data, year after year, we see 5,000 to 10,000 people moving into Sumner County. We see the school getting a lot of money, not paying all that to the teachers like they should have had. And we see the school's enrollment of students continuing to trend barely down, but with it going up 5,000 to 10,000 people in the county, there's a lot of people that need that money dispersed in other counties, in other county budgets. Every single year we have trouble because we need to pay all these different funding sources that we want to pay because it's the people's money. But the problem is year after year, we just check it and sign it on up and just say, yes, we'll give all this to this one department, when truthfully, 5,000 to 10,000 people every year over year are moving into this county and not seeing a return on their tax investments because their kids are continuing to be less and less, but there's more money being spent on that one entity that's taking everything else. And I think that the people should be upset about that. I think it's not about what the school has. It's never about that. We always want to fund our schools. And that's a hard job in and of itself, I mean, just to teach children. But we need to find a way to spread the money out that is not ours. We are standing in the gap to make the difference on how that money's spent. And I think we have to make sure, and the people that come after me, the people that sit in this seat after I leave here, it should be representing the folks that really do matter in this county. Every single one of them, not just one, not just some, but every county should, every department should be funded properly without having a huge tax increase. We shouldn't have that. We don't have to have a tax increase. We've got plenty of money coming in, as long as we're equal in the way that we disperse it, and whenever it makes more sense for the people to have it in one department as opposed to the other one. That's the ask that I get every door I've ever stood on, every door I've ever stood in front of has been that over and over again. It's not don't give money to the schools. It's just please be responsible and take the taxpayers' money and spread it out evenly. And there's a lot to go around.
All right, thanks, sir. Mr. Brown.
When we look at international education, South Korea ranks #1. And they spend $15,900. Right now, we keep throwing money at it. We're 31 in the world. 31. Money doesn't have anything to do with it. Really, it's the quality in which we're trying to put toward those students, not just throwing money at a situation. We've been doing that for decades. Hadn't gotten any better. It's gotten worse. We used to be #1. Not anymore.
All right, thank you, sir. No one else in queue. We'll put this on the board. A yes vote on this amendment is an effective no vote on this budget, and it will send it back to the school board. Does everyone understand that? A yes vote right now is a no vote for the school board's budget, and it was sending it back to the school board less the $5.6 million, asking them to resubmit it accordingly. So a yes vote right now is that. All right, let's put it on the board.
Each commissioner record your vote.
Okay, that fails to get 13 votes. No one in the queue. Let's put this on the board. This is the main motion to approve the school's budget as presented. And Ms. Miller, a yes vote here is to approve it. So, there we go.
Each commissioner record your vote.
All right, that passes with 15 yes votes. Mr. Schoaf.
Okay, item 2607-10 is to appropriate $13,910 to the Election Commission for the movement of 2 pieces of equipment to assist with physical moving of items off the shelf, and in addition to create an ad hoc to produce procedures for any department who wishes to move to a new location.
Okay, there's a motion. Is there a second?
So moved.
There's a motion and a second. Mr. Jones.
I just have a question about that one. Does this have anything to do with them moving to a different location? Like moving the election commission out of the building that they took without the commission's approval?
Can I respond to that?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes. Short answer is
Can you
yes.
explain that?
Sure. So there were some things that we went into executive session that I won't bring up here. But the short story is that several of us, I believe that this senior commissioner and I both had some questions about whether or not this this is the commission formally acquiescing to that move, and the answer to that is that it is not that. And the additional request for an ad hoc is to ensure that an unauthorized move does not happen in the future.
Would it be appropriate, I guess I'll direct this to the chair, with maybe him listening for a chime in, would it be appropriate to tie an amendment to that to make this contingent upon them accepting to move out of that location?
I do not think that would be an appropriate amendment tied to this specific one. These machines are, if you're not familiar with it, and I'm just explaining, they're not Rolodexes. I forget the exact term, but
I know they are Pelican cases with wheels on them.
So basically, the workers, and they brought it into the budget committee, the files, and they have to get on ladders and do a lot. So this allows them to be seated at their sort of station, and they can get to their files, and they have to, with the House district changing, the District 7 and 6 and so forth, I believe Ms. Ashley said that they have to touch every single voter record card that's impacted, which is pretty much everybody's. So these machines, these tools basically allow them to do that effectively. There's concerns about, people's backs going out by lifting, I think they said it was 20 or 25 pounds of each of the cases or whatnot. So these machines would be needed for that purpose. So that's what these machines are. And as Mr. Schoaf said, that it doesn't, I forget what you said about the.
It's not a formal admission of
Yeah, this is not a
acceptance.
recognition that we agree or approve that they move over there, so.
But it could potentially lead to that. Is that true?
The machines in theory could be moved again if the department moves again, but the machines are needed for their function. And so it's not something that the machines are permanent structures or whatever, and they couldn't be moved.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm hesitant because I've heard this machine excuse, and you're not lifting the whole machine ever because they got wheels on them. You're lifting half of it at a time. If you bring it up to a table's edge, you're lifting the bottom half. So I'm trying to figure out why that's being.
Yeah, it's like baskets and crates that they
you're
would
saying
be
not
lifting and
motions.
bringing to their station. And this allows it to basically, move up and down and where they can get it without having to do any lifting, et cetera. So.
Okay. All right, thank
Okay,
you.
Thank you. Mr. Nguyen.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I still feel like this is just in poor taste to, while we're in litigation, to ask for money to move stuff over, knowing that it may require the exact same amount or more to move it back or move it again. So I don't know how I feel about that, but one thing that I did want to note and bring up is our commission rules. It's Rule 3 for procedures, D, resolutions, and then it's number 10 states that no resolution shall embrace more than one subject. And so whoever developed these rules specifically restricted resolutions to one subject. And when I look at this, it clearly has two subjects. So the creation of the ad hoc committee is not in any way related to the education committee. So really these need to be separated. So I'd like to make a motion just to strip that part out. And I think, or send that part to legislative, since that was more of a county policy issue that would need to happen, and sent to legislative. But that would be my motion.
Yeah. Okay, motion and a second to remove the clause of, where is it? The creating
Create the
ad
ad
hoc.
hoc and send that to legislative to handle that.
Okay. So motion and a second. On this specific amendment, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
You want to speak on this amendment to remove to separate the ad hoc? Okay. Okay, that's fine. All right, so we've got a whole lot, probably more people than can fit on the screen in the queue. So Mr. Brown, on this specific amendment to remove the ad hoc portion, no. Mr. Harrison, on this specific amendment? Mr. Ring, specific amendment? No. Teachner? Yes. Okay, can you put Mr. Teachner? Go ahead.
So I just want to make sure, so these machines, where are they located right now?
This is on the amendment to separate the ad hoc committee?
Yes.
How is that related to the ad hoc committee?
But the ad hoc committee, let me read it. It's to create an ad hoc, to produce procedures for any department that wishes to move to a new location.
Yeah.
So my question is, if they're going to do the ad, am I on the wrong? Am I on the wrong?
Yeah, I believe, yeah.
I'm on the main, I'm sorry.
Okay,
I apologize.
That's what I thought. That's why I wanted to, sometimes I got to clarify. No, you're fine. Mr. Nung on this specific? No. Mr. Mansfield, this specific? Okay, Mr. Mansfield. Go ahead, sir.
I don't understand why we need to waste anybody's time with an ad hoc. Tennessee Code Annotated is extremely clear on this case about how the law reads, that TCA 5-7-103 states implicitly that the county legislative body of every county may hold suitable sites for offices as may be deemed expedient by the legislative body. TCA 5-5-121 addresses the powers of county legislative bodies, says that they have the power to erect or control and dispose of public county buildings. TCA 5-7-106 regarding construction and maintenance costs of county buildings and property says they're to be erected and kept in order and repair at the expense of the county under the direction of the county legislative body. And so also counties can lease land under TCA. So I don't understand, and we even actually had Judge Oliver rule in our favor saying, yes, only the county legislative body has the authority to direct where any elected officer, unelected officer, any office, where that space goes. They cannot do it on their own. The county mayor does not have power to do that. Only the county legislative body. Even Judge Oliver ruled that in his ruling. And so, in accordance with TCA code, now, I'm going to skip the ironic part of that for right now, but I don't see any reason to even have an ad hoc because the law is clear. So I'm going to amend the amendment to strike having an ad hoc at all.
Okay. All right. First and second to, so this is amendment to the amendment to basically strikes the ad hoc, and there is a second. Okay. So the maker of the amendment changes in the second. It's good. Okay. All right. So we're good. So now his amendment is strike it. Okay. So we're good on that. Mr. Schoaf on this amendment? No. Okay. Mr. Hyde on this amendment? Okay, Mr. Hyde, can you click him?
It's the maker of the motion to add this about the ad hoc committee. And it was not to determine who had authority. I have been the most outspoken person, or one of the most outspoken people on this, that this was the wrong thing to do, incorrect thing, illegal thing to do. And I don't think it should have happened. However, it's obvious that this is going south, and it's going to happen. To my disappointment, it's going to happen. But I think we do need this ad hoc committee not to determine who has authority, because I fully believe that there's one body in this county that has the authority to assign space, and that is the county commission. Judge Oliver said that in his agreement. What I wanted to do with this ad hoc committee, and I think it was a unanimous vote in the budget committee, was just find ways of disseminating information to everyone, whatever it is, to let everyone know so there will be no misunderstanding in the future what the law really is and what procedure, coming to general ops to ask permission and then getting permission from the county commission, just laying it out there for everyone to see step by step what you need to do instead of going and taking over a particular area in the county building that happens to be vacant. So this was just to make everyone knowledgeable of what they need to do to follow the law.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Jones on this amendment. Okay, go. Can you put Mr. Jones?
So I agree with the commissioner from the 20th district. I'm hesitant about this because I feel like there's a tactical thing going on here to strike the ad hoc and pass the first part of the resolution, because in the end, they're going to keep the building, and this will get rid of any opportunity to say otherwise. I think where I don't understand why this ad hoc was put in here, the commissioner mentioned the obvious, what was obvious to me, but being on general operations for the last 4 years, that the procedure is clear. If anybody wants to move, they come before Gen Ops and they ask to move, and then it proceeds through the commission. That's the only way it should ever happen. If it takes an ad hoc to do that, I don't understand why that just can't be clarified here, but we're trying to retroactively fix the way it should have been done. So I don't know which way to vote on this, because I think there's an attempt to kill the second part of the resolution so that the first part passes, and then eventually the new commission's going to let them keep that, or this commission in their last act is going to let them keep it. So I'd like to figure that out. If anybody else has any ideas on that, on how to strategize against that happening, I'd be open to.
I think you're thinking too much into this, but Mr. Mansfield, are you on this or the main?
This.
Go ahead, can you, Mr. Mansfield?
So, Senior Commissioner from the 20th District, might have changed my mind on this. I appreciate the explanation. So what I'm going to do is move to divide this question into two parts. I want to vote on the ad hoc as a separate resolution, and then the funding as a separate resolution. And so that is a majority vote, according to Robert's rules, to divide that question.
Hold on one second.
No, it's to separate these as two separate.
Let me, the main motion is as presented in the agenda.
Yeah.
The amendment we're talking about is to strike the ad hoc committee altogether from the main motion. So the amendment now to the amendment is
to divide the question.
basically it's to split it, and we vote on basically two issues, two different votes. So that's what this amendment.
Correct.
Okay. Are you good with that? Or the main amendment, or we want to vote on that? Can you put Mr. Wynn's mic on? Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I don't know, because I think that was the original amendment that was essentially made outside of, now we don't know whose committee, ad hoc committee it is. So are we back to legislative ad hoc? Because this definitely doesn't need to be under budget, because this is not a budgetary issue. It's either a policy or a gen ops issue, one of the two. You know, but it's not budget.
This amendment wouldn't send it to legislative, we'd vote on it right now. Is what
Just to
it's
form an
current.
ad hoc, and is it an ad hoc of the commission? I guess that's my question.
Yeah,
Who's ad hoc
under
is
the
it?
chairman, yes.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, that's fair. And
Yeah,
I'm
this
good
ad
with
hoc
that.
is under the chairman's purview.
Okay.
Yes.
Point of information.
The commission chairman. Point of information.
Can we have the attorney rule on whether or not this is even something we can be doing at this time? If it does, if it
Can you use his
doesn't
mic?
pass to separate these, the original comment was about that we can't put two things together. Can we have an opinion from the attorney whether or not they can be together just before we vote on this? Because we might decide to vote to keep it together.
Mr. Sittler, can you speak to that?
I do not have a direct answer for that because I didn't anticipate this going down this road. I'd be more than glad to get an answer, but we're right back at splitting this thing and sending part of it either to another committee or severing it.
So the amendment to the amendment is to.
I'll clarify my amendment.
Go ahead,
I'm
Mr.
going
Raines.
to change it. I'd be happy to. So my amendment is to divide the question, because right now, Resolution 2607-10 says appropriate $13,910 to the Election Commission and create an ad hoc to produce procedures for any department that wishes to move to a new location. That is one resolution. So my motion is to divide this into two separate resolutions. And for the ad hoc portion, I'm going to say, I'm going to refer it to Gen Ops. I think that's the appropriate place for this ad hoc to go under, dealing with county buildings, county policies. That's the Gen Ops' purview. So that is where I would send it to, is the ad hoc to under Gen Ops.
I have a question. Is it to?
Hold on a second. Wait until I recognize you, please. Were you about to? Yeah. Yeah. All right. Sorry, Mr. Shove. Can you put Mr. Shove?
I just have a question about a point, because I may second this. Is it to refer, or is this to establish it here and then put the appointment under Gen Ops?
Yes.
Okay, then second.
What was?
To establish the ad hoc here, this is what this resolution is doing, so I'm dividing that question. So we're establishing we're going to have ad hoc. We're sending it to Gen Ops
You get Mr.
for the
Means, what's
appointments of those members.
I second that.
Okay. Your red mic wasn't on. Just for those that might be listening online.
Okay.
Can you
So again, I'm dividing this question so that the ad hoc, we're establishing it per the county commission with 13 votes, if we get it, to establish an ad hoc and refer that ad hoc to Gen Ops for the appointment of those ad hoc members.
Second.
All right.
No, it's different.
He changed his original amendment, so that's the
Now it's to
original.
divide
Yeah.
two separate
Yeah,
resolutions, two separate votes. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's, yeah, yeah. Okay, there's original amendment. We're gonna, so, yeah, okay, let's put this on the board. Okay, it was exactly what you asked for. So I just want to make sure. Go ahead, Mr. Jones.
I just want to see if the number makeup of the ad hoc needs to be mentioned now or later if this passes. Like, should it be 5, should it be
No,
7?
it'd be, Gen Ops figures that out.
No, you're talking about appointing
He's talking about
it here.
sending it to Gen Ops, and Gen Ops creates an ad hoc.
I thought you said create it tonight and have them report to Gen Ops. I thought that's what you said.
No.
That is what he
So
said.
you're, hold on one second. You're wanting to appoint members right now?
I wasn't necessarily, we can do.
Well, that's what I'm saying. No, we're not adding stuff like this, guys. Well, I mean, that's what I'm saying is, in my opinion,
We don't have a number.
in my, well, I'm not going to share my opinion because people don't like when I share my opinions from this seat. So, all right, Mr. Mansfield, restate your motion.
Again, it's simply to divide this question.
It's not simple. You're adding more and more complexity to it every time you talk.
It's simply to divide this question from the $13,000 as one vote, one resolution. Second one is a resolution that we are establishing the ad hoc here. Thus, it is established. So the second part of that was to send it to Gen Ops for the appointment of that. That was what my motion was,
Okay.
just so we're clear, so you know what he's trying to speak to. He's wanting to add to it, is what it sounds like. But I'm just letting you know what my motion was.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay, thanks.
Yes.
Are you clear?
Yes, I would
Okay.
like to amend.
You can't do that. We've got an amendment and an amendment, so.
I thought they were essentially
No,
the same.
he made an amendment, and now he's making an amendment to the amendment.
Yeah, I thought so. I
Okay,
thought
so if this
he
is
absorbed
this is your main amendment, then, okay, so go ahead. What is your motion?
I would like to appoint those members to that ad hoc tonight.
Okay, all in favor? No. Actually, is there a second to that? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? No. Okay, I got that as a no.
Okay, do we need to put a number on that for Gen Ops, or let Gen Ops put the number on it when it goes there?
Gen Ops.
Well, we could argue about it here too. I'm just asking the question, and we're missing an opportunity. I
Is
would
there a
say-
motion?
Yeah, I would say put the number at 5.
Is there a second? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, 5. Okay, so the amendment is to separate this out. We're going to have 2 votes. One is for the 13,910, and then the second vote will be to establish an ad hoc where the 5 members to send to and oversee by the Gen Ops Committee. So that's the amendment. So we need to vote on that amendment at some point here. Mr. Brown, on this amendment? Okay. Mr. Harrison, on this amendment? Mr. Teacher, on this amendment? Are you sure? All right. Sorry. Go ahead.
I am sure. The reason why it seems like a circus act at home is because there's so many things at work here, and the truth is nobody actually wants an ad hoc, but there's just a number that wants a long enough delay to where that whatever has been delayed for 4 years will finally come into being. I'm just saying it just so that when I'm gone, the people will know. I mean, it's just a delay tactic, and I think it's ridiculous. It's already written out so many times. We can write it out on other things. We can carve it in stone. But it's a delay tactic of a shadow government that drives me completely crazy. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Ring, on this amendment? No. Okay. Mr. Schoaf, on this amendment? All right. Let's put this amendment on the board. So again, This amendment is to separate these votes out. The money, 13,000, and then the committee, the ad hoc committee, 5 members within the Gen Ops committee. So this amendment is to vote for that.
Each commissioner records your vote.
Okay, well, all right, we have 21 yeses for that. Okay, all right. So we're split it. So I'm going back to Mr. Schoaf. Can you put Mr. Schoaf? So Mr. Schoaf, let's split these up, please.
So the first one I'll just read, to appropriate $13,910 to the Election Commission for
Okay.
the machines, period.
Specifically for the 2 machines?
Correct.
And there was a second? Okay. All right. Mr. Brown, on this specific motion. All right, Ms. All right.
I agree with the
Can you
Commissioner
hit?
District. This is just highly inappropriate. We are helping somebody that has basically flipped us off for about 3-4 years with their court action. And I do not see that, this ought to come out of their budget. If they want to do this, it needs to come out of their budget rather than we fund something that they have been at odds with us, pretty much this whole commission.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Harrison, on this motion?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
For me, this is basically a dollars and cents issue. The question comes down to if these ladies who are working in the Election Commission are having to get up on ladders, get up on stools, handle this heavy equipment multiple times, one back injury will be more than the 13,000 and whatever change is. That's what this boils down to. This also, there's still an election going on. Whether we agree with the move or not, the election is still ongoing. We run the risk of election interference. This is a really simple, and it's not a lot of money. And I agree that probably need to have some kind of procedures drawn out so that we don't have to deal with this albatross around our necks again. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Mr. Ring, on this, go ahead.
The chairman kind of referred to these as like Rolodexes.
Sorry, Mr. Ring.
$2,000 or 2,000-pound Rolodex. Okay, and it had all the voter information in there. And when they moved, or they like it or not, they moved that voter information. They did not move those machines, and so the voter information is not cataloged properly because of that. And we need to get these machines moved so that they can do their job the way they're supposed to do their job over there.
Thanks, sir. Ms. Janan.
Thank you. I actually am going to agree with Mr. Harrison. I never do, but that's a first for tonight. The fact that I've been over to the Election Commission, they gave me a tour because I had to use the restroom, and they just said, go ahead and we'll give you a tour. And she showed me all of the filing and all the cabinets and all that, and it is this tall. And the boxes are this long, and they're heavy. And along with the voting machines that they deal with, the heaviness of that. I'm not saying that what they did was right at all. But what I am saying is that he's right. The machine that's sitting over across the hall in the old election office, I've voted in there for years, and the woman would sit on the chair, an ergonomic chair, and the Rolodex would come down, and she would slide across and do her work. She never had to do this or do that. She did what she had to do sitting in the chair. So we're asking a lot of these people are volunteers, and we're asking mostly retirees to do something that is pretty straining. And I know some of you probably would be weenies and would not really be able to do it, but it's tough because I watched them. So I agree with him. This is a money issue. I mean, we spent a ton of money just now through the whole agenda And I don't agree what they did. I think it was wrong, and I think that has to be litigated out. But I do think that because they redistrict, you know, they did the redistrict in the 6th and the 7th, all that has to be changed, and that takes time. So you're asking people to constantly do this because of the extension of the redistricting and how they have to map everybody. So I think you should vote for it, because not on the principle of the fact that they moved over there like squatters, but I think that it's a fact that we need to make sure, number one, our elections are secure and safe, and that they can do their job to provide that. And I'm going to vote that they get that money. Not that I like what they did, but this is, to me, you know, it needs to be done. Thank you,
Okay,
sir.
thank you, appreciate that. Mr. Schoaf, do you would like to speak, or are you still? All right, Mr. Teachner.
Mr. Becker, so just, will you clarify where, I think we know the answer, but will you clarify where that machine is right now?
It's my understanding the machines are in this building.
Okay, well, so we're asking, we're supposed to give $13,910 of the taxpayers' money to move the machine to the building that we never authorized to be moved into. Well, I've got great news. So when I moved my family from here to Colorado to go and join the military, for under $7,000, I moved my entire family and everything I owned. So why don't I make an amendment that instead of us moving the machine over there, we move their stuff back over here?
Second.
That would cost a lot more than $13,000, but that's your amendment, and you have a second.
It cost me under $7,000 to move it.
So how much money would you like to appropriate to move them back over here? If you want to make this motion amendment, then throw a dollar figure at it.
Exact same amount.
So 13,000 to move everything back?
Yes.
Okay, I'll call that out of order, because that's unless you're going to do it for free or for 13,000. I'm calling that out of order.
Okay.
All right.
Can I ask you a question then?
Go ahead.
Then my amendment is that we send it to budget to get the pricing for it to be moved back over here properly. Thank you.
Second.
I'm gonna.
That's not out of order.
Well, I'm gonna rule that we're not gonna entertain that right now. So, all right.
Hey, I call for a division of the.
Okay, fine. Let's vote on that. Let's put that on the board. A yes vote here would be to overrule my ruling, and yeah, a yes vote would be yes to overrule my ruling and send it back to budget, or to vote to send it back to budget.
Before we vote, can I ask a
Point of information, Mr. Harrison, can you?
From Mr. Sittler to authorize a move, if this body votes to move them back and appropriate an amount, would that stipulate as interfering with the actual case because we're under an injunction?
Go ahead.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. So according to the law director, it would interfere with the case that's currently still in process. All right. So let's put this on the board.
And to be clear, this is just to overrule.
Yeah, overrule me, and then it would allow this to be put to a vote. So this is just to overrule my ruling. And then if there's 13 yeses, then we'll put it to vote to send it back to budget. So let's put this on the board. 13 yeses will allow us to then put it to vote. Yes, but I mean, I'm not the one that's throwing these motions out there. So let's put this on the board. 13 votes will allow us to then vote on the other item.
Each commissioner records your vote.
Okay. All right. So 15 people agree with my stance there. All right. Mr. Mansfield on this? Oops, can you remove Mr. Jones? All right, go ahead.
So, again, the reason we're even in this jam is because this election commission and its administrator has a record, documented record that includes the illegal relocation and occupation of county property. Also includes the execution of contracts without county commission approval, violations of the Tennessee Open Meetings Act, false and misleading statements of the county commission, and malicious litigation.
I think we all...
So, regarding what Mr. Teacher was talking about earlier, the court acknowledged the rightful statutes for the county commission to direct and control county property. And in the same breath, the irony is that court ruled that the county commission can't tell the election commission where to go. It's like a bipolar ruling. It's like it's completely opposite of what the statute says. Like, yeah, I agree with the statute, but I'm ruling against the statute. So the order from the judge it's an unlawful order. It's statutorily incorrect. I wouldn't say unconstitutional because it's not written in the Constitution. I know it's a statute. So it's statutorily incorrect. It's an unlawful order from the judge. I definitely challenge that, and I call it that. And so I just want that on the record because some things have been said about this. So I don't care what you want to talk about the lawsuit, is the fact that it's a goofy ruling, and the fact that you have those two competing, agreeing with the law, but then ruling against the law, which you can't do. So it's an unlawful order from a judge. So, and that's where we're at. But you know, the problem is and then we're stuck with stupid stuff like this, and just continually doing goofy stuff. And so I just want to make that clear of why we're having a vote on this is because of that illegal relocation and occupation of county property.
Mr. Schoaf, you'd like to speak?
Just real quickly, I just wanted to note that while I had voted to overrule the chair, which I did think was the correct vote, I would not have voted to pass that forward. And I just wanted to state that I feel like I'm speaking similar to Mr. Hyde, in that I've been pretty hardcore on this position, and I might agree with pretty much everything that my fellow commissioners have said tonight on this move. But I also agree with Commissioner Harrison's note, especially given some of the guidance provided to us by our legal department, that because of the fact that we are in the middle of an election, and because of the fact that we have been directed ultimately by the federal government to redistrict, there is a time constraint here, and we have physical constraints from the staff. So while I agree with all of these things, and I will go to the mats on as many of them as I can, there are points where there is a bigger downside than fighting over $13,000. And I think we are in that position right now.
Thanks, sir. Mr. Brown. And before we speak, everyone that's in the queue has already spoken to this. All you have to do is vote no if you don't want to spend the money. But go ahead, Mr. Brown.
They moved over there without any appropriation. They did it illegally. And I do not see, why we have to give them more money to do something illegally again. They are the ones that figured out this is the rack system we're going to use, all that. They had tons of square foot over there to just lay it on the ground, not have to get up on anything or stretch over this way. They could have put it all on the ground because there's so much square footage over there. I do not understand why we're even debating giving them more money when they have done something that we know is unlawful. They did the unlawful move on their own, in their own budget. We shouldn't have to give them any money to move back here, do the right thing. Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. Mr. Jones.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I disagree with my fellow commissioner from the 9th District. but I will use some of her language. This is like squatters, and I just can't in good conscience make it more convenient for squatters to stay there. This is essentially if somebody's squatting in your home and you find out they're handicapped and you have to go put in a handicapped ramp to their front porch to keep them from suing you. And I can't do that. Guys, the only power we have here is the power of the purse. That's all we have. We never use it. we never do. This is all we got. And I don't see how this isn't a conflict with the case that is out there right now, the pending litigation. I don't see how it's not a conflict. It's got to be. So I'm not going to make it easier for them to keep doing what's wrong.
All right. Mr. Teachner?
Yes, sir. I actually want to ask the law director if it's even legal that we can even vote to move something, because if the direction of that court ruling is that we can't tell them where to go location-wise, then why in the world are we moving something to an address? It's wrong, and it's against the statute that was ruled on, and I think that we're actually going against the judge's orders if we pay to move something over to a location, to an address. Will you please answer me?
Hold on a second. So you're asking if it's illegal for us to spend this money?
No, not at all. I'm asking.
Can you put Mr. Teacher?
I'm asking. Sorry.
Go ahead.
That's a very odd way to state what I just said. I'm asking if the lawyer will clarify, if we were told, what was the exact ruling, that we can't tell them a location? Is that right, what it was? We tell them where to go, but we can't tell them a location? Is that what it was?
No, it's not what the statute says.
Tell me how the statute reads. I don't want to say it wrong.
Well, what is...
My question...
Go ahead and ask your question, but I want to... My interpretation of your question was that the judge ruled a certain way, and if we do this, does it go against the judge's ruling?
If the judge said that we can't tell them we can't determine a location, then how can we actually take something and move property to a location? If we can't move them here, how can we move their property there?
Okay, so that's what
I'm saying?
exactly what I said. I don't know what was odd about it, but your question is, does it go against the legal advice from the lawyer?
What's the difference in us, my amendment a while ago asking to move their equipment here? What's the difference in us moving equipment there?
Okay. So, Law Director, would you like to speak to that?
For a little bit of clarity, the judge ruled in favor of our position on the statute. The judge is still involved because he wants to sign off on what the commission decides to do in reference to relocating the election commission. Nothing's been agreed on. There's been no definitive plan to submit to the courts on that. So the moving of this equipment is merely that, the moving of the equipment for the efficient operation of the election during an election year. That's why my recommendation at the time was to go ahead and do this so that we're not being seen by the courts as doing anything to inhibit or create any kind of problems with how the elections are run right now.
Mr. Teachner, do you have anything to add on that?
I do, that because that's not actually accurate, because we did provide a plan for where they could move.
Okay.
And
So
it was not honored, so
I'm
I'm
going to
saying...
move us forward. Like, no one, in my opinion, no one's vote is going to change no matter how much longer we talk. So let's move forward.
If one was illegal, but the same thing...
All you have to do is vote no. I promise you're about to vote no.
Okay.
So if I just influence your vote, I apologize. But, all right, no one else is in the queue. So we'll put this on the board to appropriate the $13,910 election commission to move the 2 machines. Put that on the board. A yes vote is to approve it. So that got 13 yes votes.
So
It
moving
looks like
forward,
I was correct on that. All right.
moving forward.
Go ahead.
Moving forward now, this is the severed vote to establish the establishment of a five-person ad hoc committee here, and then to refer appointment of that five-person committee to Gen Ops. I so move.
Okay, that's a motion, and there's a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so the yeses have it, but for the record, just raise your hand who voted no. So Teachner and Ring voted no. Everyone else yes? Okay.
All right.
Hold on one second. Law Director has a question for me.
So just to be clear, this will be 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 2607, 21?
Yeah, so that would have been 2607-21 was that vote we just
That
took.
makes sense.
Okay. All right, so now we're moving on to 2607-11.
Yes, 2607-11. This is to appropriate $48,640
Motion and
to Sheriff's
a
Office
second.
to purchase firearms. I so move.
Motion and a second. No one in the... Because there's an amendment, well, no, we're going to vote on this one. Then you can make a different motion. So all in favor of 2607-11, say yeah, aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? So that's unanimous. So Mr. Shove, you probably heard the...
I did.
So go ahead.
Well, I mean, I didn't have.
You can do whatever you want to do.
He made the motion.
Yeah, I didn't accept it. So you want to make your motion now? Okay.
Okay.
So there's a motion and a second, items 4 through 8. No one in the queue. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so now we're on 2607-17. Mr. Shove.
Yes, this is adopt a waiver for the motor vehicle privilege taxes for qualifying volunteer firefighters. And I wanted to make a note. I believe this was amended, and I'm not seeing the language here. I think this was amended in the...
It's in the resolution,
In
yes.
the resolution, so that this is contingent on a request to put a question regarding rural fire funding to referendum. I so move.
Yeah. All right, so there was a motion. Is there a second? There's a motion and a second. Mr. Nguyen.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So with this one, I mean, the Volunteer Fire Department Ad Hoc Committee, we did put forward a recommendation to the HMS Committee. HMS Committee passed it unanimously with no referendum attached. Quite honestly, I mean, I think the referendum attaching this is putting the cart well in front of the horse. And we're trying to solve for a problem we don't even know what it truly is. So the ad hoc committee is nearing its completion of work, and we'll have a recommendation coming out. But I mean, to tie this, which is, it really is an appreciation measure to help the volunteer fire departments with retention and recruitment, is now going to be tied up in a 2+ year potential process. We'd have to send the language up to the state to get permission, to then come back down for us to approve, to then be put on the next ballot cycle, which is in 2028. So we're 2 years out at best. And all of this to show appreciation to volunteer fire department volunteers. You know, I understand the intent and the purpose behind wanting to move the ball down the road, but I think it's a little overkill, to be quite honest. And it just flashbacks to, you know, why don't we tie growth and water to this as well? You know, would just be one of the thoughts that initially came to me when I saw it, and I was like, what are we doing? Why are we doing this? I mean, something that is this little, you know, to take it to this level, you know, to me, I was taken back a bit. And if we want to do a referendum, fine, do a referendum, like, you know, but don't tie it to something like this. You know, this is literally the least we can do for our volunteer fire department and for our volunteers, to show some appreciation for the work they do, the time they give, the sacrifice that they have. It really is very minimal. So with that, I've got two amendments to make.
Okay.
One, I'll start with It's on the ninth whereas. I want to insert language in there just to clarify. So insert for clarifying Sumner County volunteer firefighters. So only reason I want to add the word Sumner County in front of volunteer firefighters is just because I don't want to run into a situation where maybe we've got a Robertson County fire chief sends over a letter for somebody who lives in Sumner County. So I think we'll just add that layer. It may be stupid and very, but I think it's just a little thing that we can do to add some clarity to that, and I think it will help out potentially if somebody chooses to do the wrong thing in the future.
Do you know what page this is in the packet?
Have no clue.
Okay. Oh, okay, thank you. Yeah. All right. So what section was that?
It was the ninth whereas.
Okay. And so you just want to clarify that it'd be Sumner County volunteer fire
Add in
department.
Sumner County in front of volunteer firefighters.
All right.
That
Is
would
there
be
a second?
That would be a motion.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so
It says Sumner County right there, though. No, it says.
it's,
Volunteer firefighters serving.
It's okay. I mean, we can just vote no if you don't agree with it, but.
Vote's already taken.
Sumner County is listed in there, but it doesn't say Sumner County firefighters, so I think adding the specificity
yes,
is,
he
it's just a
wants
little
to
extra
add the word
insurance.
Sumner County.
Yeah, so.
All right, so that passed unanimous.
Yep.
Okay,
Thank you,
so
Mr. Chairman.
next
The
amendment.
second one I'd like to do is just make a motion to remove all of the be it further resolved language that has the referendum language in there.
I want to get in queue.
Okay. So there's an amendment here to remove any of all the be it further resolved that addresses the referendum.
Correct.
Okay. And there was, I heard several seconds, I think. Okay. All right. Mr. Schoaf.
So, listen, I mean, here's the thing. We said, oh, this is taking me aback, blah, blah, blah. We know what the problem is, and I'm so sick of dealing with this. This has been going on for 40 years, man. The problem is super simple. We don't have a funding source for a rural fire department. That's the problem, and everybody dances around it, and we dance around it with a little more funding on the volunteer side, and now we're dancing around it with this. It's garbage. So, it's garbage. It's not that the volunteer fire departments are garbage. It's garbage that we are not being honest about having to pay for something. Okay? Now, look, I'm not saying that I want to just levy a tax on people. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying put it out to people to decide what they want to do. Now, here's what happened with that ad hoc. We put an ad hoc together, and you know what it's gotten done? Nothing. It's gotten nothing done. It put forward a recommendation that we voted down. I was the only one to vote for it. There was me, I think Mr. Ring. Everybody voted it down. So seriously. So if we're going, so what I'm tired of is dancing around an issue and just throwing little cookies on the ground in order to appease people instead of solving the problem. So if you're gonna clown on somebody who's trying to solve the problem, offer a solution. Don't just dance cookies around in order to appease somebody.
Thank you, sir. All right. Mr. Harrison.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
This is on the amendment. Okay.
Yeah, I also voted against the fire tax portion in Budget Committee for this very reason. I think we're conflicting two different things. I do have a question because one of our, in public comments, one of the statements that was made was that this particular ad hoc had met for 10 months. Is that correct? So it's been in place for 10 months? And I'm sorry, I should have directed that to the chair. I apologize.
No, it's fine. It sounds like it's maybe 9 months.
9 months? Okay. I just want to make sure because I know in our rules, they're only allowed to go for a year. So that's why I was asking the question. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Mr. Jones, on this, oh, okay. Mr. Mansfield, on this amendment or something else? Okay, good. Mr. Teachner, on this amendment?
I didn't know I was in the queue either, honestly.
Okay. All right. Mr. Schmidt, do you know you're in the queue on this? Okay. Go ahead.
I think to separate it, I agree with the commissioner from District 15. If it doesn't get separated and it sits as it stands, I'll be voting against this, not because I'm voting against the volunteer fire department, but the will of my constituents in the county-only portion has overwhelmingly told me they do not want a fire tax. They do have no desire to vote for a fire tax. Their direction to me, and I've communicated this to the commissioner from District 15 when we met at the volunteer fire department up in Cottontown and had a discussion, is like, look, we got to come up with solutions. I think that's what he's doing. But he also knows where I'm coming from. My constituents do not want a fire tax referendum. They don't want a fire tax. And the volunteer firemen that I met with, along with Commissioner from the 15th District and others that night, understand my position and my concerns. And it was a very productive meeting that night. We all toured the facility and had a great discussion that we're going to brainstorm some other ideas and come to the table with those ideas. So I don't think there's anything delay tactics that's going on here. I think everyone's just trying to meddle all these ideas together and come up with a solution. So I don't think everyone wants a solution, but the bottom line is if this stands like it is, nothing against the volunteer firemen, but I will be voting against this if this is not removed. Thank you.
On this, Mr. Teacher? All right, can you hit Mr. Teacher?
Yes, sir. I just want to make one more amendment. I amend that we take the referendum off, but we do put to referendum term limits. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a different topic. All right, good soundbite, but different topic. All right, can you hit Mr. Nguyen? Can you repeat your amendment?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. So my amendment is just to remove all of the "be it further resolved" language that has the referendum language in
Okay.
there.
All right. No one else is in the queue. Let's put that on the board. This amendment, a yes, would be to remove the "be it further resolved" that pertains to the referendum.
Each commissioner record your vote.
Mr. Jones, you have another amendment. So that passed. So now, Mr. Jones.
This is just a simple language cleanup. On section 4, the very bottom of that same page that Commissioner Nguyen was directing us to, the county clerk may require such documentation as necessary and consistent with Tennessee law to verify eligibility. I want to change that to the county clerk will require or shall require, just to clean that up, because they come and go and it may change.
Okay, so the terminology, the county clerk shall require.
Yes.
And there's a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? So that's unanimous. Mr. Schoaf.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead.
So, I mean, I'm going to make an amendment that we also waive the wheel tax for every volunteer who provides any volunteer services for any county service, to include schools. We talked about volunteers for the election commission, all of them. Anybody who does any volunteer service for any county department shall be included in this amendment, shall be included with this resolution.
Okay.
Oh, so we don't care about our other guys.
How would we go
I don't
about
know
that?
how we figure it out. I mean.
Okay. Well, I just want to understand, is there a second on that?
All right.
Okay. That dies for no second. All right. Mr. Nguyen.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I appreciate the votes that we've taken so far, and you know, I respect the fervor that our budget chairman has, and it's nothing sliding towards the individual. And the committee's done a lot of good work. This is not a simple issue, you know, as I think that many people have discovered over the years. It is not a simple issue. And so just trying to define what the problem is, where we are today, and then where we need to be for tomorrow, it takes time. And so the ad hoc has taken more than a ready, shoot, aim approach. And we're really trying to be very calculated and careful in what we're doing and ultimately what we're going to come forward with as far as a final recommendation. And I know it's taken some time, but it is very complicated. There is a lot of things to consider within fire and emergency service protection, and would be happy to even support, you know, an amendment such as the one that was previously made that wasn't seconded, as long as there's TCA code to back it up. I mean, this has TCA code to back it up, so it's not an appeasement, it's not any of that, it's nothing personal. This is just, it literally is, we have problems in our volunteer fire departments with recruitment and retention. This is a tool for them to help them with recruitment and retention. It's as simple as that. There's no appeasing, there's no anything outside of, we're trying to help our volunteer fire departments. And this is low-hanging fruit, the lowest hanging fruit that we can pull. And just to show that appreciation. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thanks, sir. Mr. Harris.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, most every fire department, EMS in the state of Tennessee has the ability to get these now. They're not free, but there is a cut on their the wheel tax portion of it, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. If anyone knows that for sure, they can hop in the queue. Mr. Wright.
Until you've been on a call with some of these men and women, these so-called volunteers, you can't put a price on what they do. I've seen them stop spurting blood for an ambulance to get there. I've seen them walk into burning homes to save someone's family members. I've seen them and some of my fellow officers try to get out as many valuables out of some homes before the roof collapsed. And these folks lost everything that they had. They don't ask for a whole lot. Yeah, you say they ask for hundreds of thousands a year. In the grand scheme of things, think about how much that is. I know some of you don't live in the county. I do. The far north end of the county. About as far north as you can get, folks. But I can guarantee you, if you live in the city of this county, I can guarantee you in your travels, you will be going and traveling on a county road. And guess who is going to be responding if you're in an accident? More than likely, it will be one of these volunteers that will be coming to save the day. It may be one of your family members. Maybe your child. Maybe your grandchild, if you're fortunate. I don't have one of those yet. Hopefully in the near future, if I'm fortunate. I only have a couple more months left. Well, actually one more after this. I'll be turning the reins over to someone else. If you think that I have been a voice for the volunteers and for the first responders of this county as an elected official, folks, you ain't seen nothing yet. because when I'm not an elected official, I can get right there on that podium and I can speak as a citizen. And that's exactly what I'll be. These volunteers, people, they're all over this county. Some of them have come to my home. I know some of them have come to some of the commissioners who are sitting in these chairs. They have been to your homes and your families' homes. We owe them, people.
Thanks, sir. Mr. Jones.
They actually cost a little bit more. They're $85. They can choose to get them if they want to. The plates.
Okay.
And we got a county clerk here. We could verify that probably if she knows off the top of her head.
All right. Can you repeat the information you just shared?
Yeah, $85 for firefighter plates.
The firefighter plate itself is the same as a regular plate unless you are a member of the firefighters union. They are more.
And they are what?
Can you turn your own?
If you're a member of the union?
Hold on a second.
The firefighter plate, unless you're a member of the union, is the same as any regular plate. If you're a member of the union, it does cost more if you choose to get that plate, but you don't have to.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. All right, thank you. All right. So we're back on the main motion, right? Okay. As amended. Yeah, there's no one in the queue. So all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? No. Okay. I heard one no. Was there any other no's? Do what? It's the adopt the county motor vehicle privileges taxes for qualifying volunteer firefighters, and we amended it to remove the referendum topics, and we changed the word will to shall. And then you had one of your first ones. Oh yeah, we added the Sumner County thing. So that just got approved with one no vote, Mr. Schoaf. All right. We're back to Mr. Schoaf. This would be 2607-18, which is item number 10. Just to keep us all on the same page, Mr. Schoaf, I have this written down, roughly 50,000 for the Hendersonville Health. Yeah, but go ahead.
So this is it is a carryover for $50,000 for repairs and upgrades to the Hendersonville Health Department.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So that's unanimous. Mr. Schoaf.
This is a carryover again for $121,160 for recovery courts.
Motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So that's unanimous. Mr. Schoaf.
And the last one is appropriation of a carryover of $242,528.23 for Westmoreland EMS station.
Motion and a second. No one in the queue. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
That concludes my
report. That's unanimous. That concludes your report. Yes, we did. Yes. Mr. Schoaf was the no vote. Okay. Is there any, Ms. Bergdorf, financial management? Nothing? Okay. Recognition of the public non-agenda items. There are none. Are there any, so item number 15, any district events or announcements? No one is in the queue. Motion to adjourn.